friends, greetings for the day. So today we will discuss regarding the Cisco examination 200-301 certification, okay, and we will discuss about one of the topic regarding the WLC. So we will not touch it complete because otherwise this video will be a bulkier one. So this is my website where I am going over the CCNA part, and you can see that Cisco has introduced a lot and lot of things over here. So currently Cisco is not only wants only the routing and switching. Now it has introduced like security also, automation also, programmability also, and your WLAN as well. So this is a combined package now. You need to be aware about each and every technology little bit. So this is a link over here provided to you guys. If you wanted to see, you can go over this link. You can just check the Cisco website. Okay, what all are the things are over there. Otherwise, for your ease, I have already put it in this syllabus button. If you click over here, you can just download the PDF which is mentioned or which is provided by the Cisco. Okay, here we have already mentioned like why to acquire this and why not, and each and everything. Apart from it, if you just scroll down over to my website, you can see that we have this CCNA examination divided into 6 parts. Correct. So these are our 6 parts, and each and every part is consisting of some kind of marking. You can see that there are some kind of weightage added over there. Okay, and if you check the previous the very first two sections, the network fundamentals, you can see that there are WLC will be come into the picture. Okay, there is WLC over here, there is WLC over here regarding the SSID, RF encryption, and each and everything. So, and there is one part also come into the WLC when we read about the WLC maybe later on. To there are Cisco wireless architecture and AP modes, okay, and WLAN's components like AP and lag and trunk and protocol, TCACs, etc. So there are couple of things which are introduced, but howsoever today I would like to talk with you guys regarding one of the most famous topic, okay, that is Cisco roaming, okay, WLC roaming. So let us come to the topic first. So let us check what does this roaming means and how does this roaming come into the picture and what all about. So welcome guys, welcome to the NetMinion Solutions. I am Ravinder Singh, and today we will discuss regarding the roaming. So we will understand what is the roaming, what are the types of roaming. Wireless client can move from one basic service set to the another. So let me tell you, if there is one device that is an AP, so that AP has some kind of range, okay, associated with it as per the like whatever the SSID, what kind of range and what all are the parameters you have set. Inside this basic set area, we can say it as BSA. Okay, inside this BSA, if there is some wireless client with wireless adapter is there. Okay, if there is a laptop which can catch the signal which is sent by the AP as a beacons, so get all over the details like IP address or authentication and all, if everything, if the user is the legitimate user. So wireless client can move from one basic service set to the another by roaming. So if there is a wireless user in your company, and if he needs to move from one place to another, he can go there. Okay, and as a network administrator, it's our job to provide or to just be aware that his signal strength and his like IP connectivity should not be break. So a client continuously evaluates the quality of its wireless connection. Okay, like as I told you earlier, if there is a connection, okay, by one AP, so one AP is having the connectivity till so far, second AP is having the connectivity starting from here, and the client is somewhere here. So when he is moving towards this AP area, it will prefer to go to this AP instead of this smaller range. So maybe it has the range like that till the smaller range over there like that. Okay, because it should be the overlap. So the client should be moving to the AP which is having the good signal strength. If the quality degrades, the client begin looking for the another AP, and this is known as roaming as well. So process is like usually very quick and simple. Active scanning reveals, okay, and whenever client will see that my signal strength is whatever I am getting from AP1 is degraded and AP2 is the strong signal strength, the client will prefer to attach with the AP2 instead of AP1. So that is the whole idea behind the roaming. Okay, so this is a picture where we can see currently the client is associated with this AP. Maybe we can say it as AP1. Okay, and if we see that client during the roaming, if client need to be moved out, okay, from AP1 to the maybe AP2. Okay, so this is a roaming example of autonomous APs. See, we have two kind of APs. One is LWAP, that the lightweight APs, and the autonomous or the standalone APs. Okay, so if we talk about the standalone APs, you can see that their directly connectivity is through the switch. There is no WLC is coming in between, unlike LWAP. So if my one device is moving to another device towards another device and it has again the signal strength, maybe like there the overlapping area, and it is seems that this is AP2 is having now the good signal strength and AP1 signal strength is degrading, this client will get associated from here. So whatever association was earlier, if we check over here the AP1 with the client 1, that will be moved to the AP2. Okay, the AP2 and client 1 will be associated with here. So this is the whole concept about the roaming. Okay, and similarly we can see over here that when my client is moving from here to there, it will associated with AP2 instead of AP1. Might be more than two APs as well. So to cover a large area, you will probably installed many APs. Okay, because if your floor is like very bigger and one AP signal strength is not enough to handle that, instead in your OMC also there should be 3 or 4 APs as per the requirement or as per the area. So when a wireless client begins to move, it might move through an arbitrary path so it is not like that it will move from AP1 to AP2 or AP3. It depends like how it is moving, and as per that move whatever the AP is providing the good signal strength, it will associate with that. So each time the client decide, okay, from the signal strength, if one is degraded and second is strong one, like to whom I should be get associated with. Okay, so the exact location of each roam depend upon the client's roaming algorithm. How he is moving, it depends upon that. So this is a simple diagram where we can see that one user, okay, this is a user, this is a wireless user which is connecting through wireless AP, okay, and here you can see that once the signal strength is getting degraded, it will associated with the second AP in the gray, and again like that wherever he is going, he is getting associated and reassociated with another APs. So it depends how he is moving or she is moving. Okay. Now one thing comes intra-controller roaming. So first maybe roaming type we have already seen, that is roaming between the autonomous AP. Now roaming between the lightweight APs is having the two types. Okay, one of them is intra-controller roaming. So if we go through the intra-controller roaming, let me provide you the brief detail about here. So in a CUWN like it is when your WLC come into the picture. Okay, APs are bound to a wireless LAN controller through the CAPAP tunnel. So you know that CAPAP tunnel is the tunnel which come in between the AP and the WLC to make a secure connection, and any of the data connection or data traffic will be flow through there. Okay, so the roaming process is similar to that of the autonomous AP here also. Just client must still reassociate to the new AP wherever the signal strength is good. The client will move to that kind of particular AP. Okay. So the real difference or the only difference this time is that all the this roaming kind of process is handled by whom? Handled by controller. So I hope you are aware about the split MAC architecture, which is this term is like gained because your MAC address is also visible over the AP also and over the WLC also. So some of the functionality is done by the AP, some of the functionality is done by WLC. So that is the reason why we also used to call it as the split MAC architecture. Okay. Now, if both APs are bound to the same controller, the ROM occurs in, okay, so the roaming, if the user is roaming between the two APs, which is managed by a single controller, that stuff is known as intra-controller roaming. So there is the roaming which is happening, but this time both APs are like connected to the same WLC. So earlier which we checked, that was the like autonomous, where the WLC is not coming into the picture. This time there are maybe two APs, but these two APs instead going to the same WLC. So the WLC which is managing these two APs, AP1 and AP2, are like is the same. Okay, so because it is going to the same WLC, it is known as intra-controller roaming. So it is quite similar to the like our autonomous roaming. Okay. So we can see currently like how one client, which is client one, here it is having some kind of IP address which will not change into the intra-controller roaming. Okay, both APs are managed by the WLC1. So WLC1 will push the SSID over here and over here also, and you are aware, I hope, about the working of the WLC, how to create this kind of SSID and all. If not, we can build a lab also. Okay, this is a lab which is built over the packet tracer. All of the features will not work over here, but yes, couple of the features you can see that currently I have two clients associated with it, and two access points are already there. Okay, and you can see that if I need to check the WLAN, there are two WLANs are created over here. So this WLAN property will from the WLC will be pushed to the all the APs which are associated with it. You can see all the APs, what are the all APs which are associated with over here. So if you go to the controller, maybe you click over the interface, you can see that what kind of the, how to define the IP address, the VLAN number, the IP address, each and everything over here. Okay, in apart from it, I have already created the DHCP pool as well. Okay, over here only, so that my one of, if my client is associated, getting associated with the WLC or the AP, okay, it will receive the IP address from here. Even though from the security I have also added the security, the server address also, the radius server. Okay, the radius server authentication I have added. Okay, and this all will be including in your CCNA stuff. Okay, so we will check during the CCNA class. So if you see, this WLC is pushing two SSIDs over here and over here. If you see, both are having the same SSID, both are having the same, the layer 3 address, the subnet is the same. So if client is moving from one AP to another AP which is connected to the WLC, it is known as intra-controller roaming. And again, all of the communication will be the secured going through the CAP app tunnel. Okay, and WLC will maintain a table where it will see, okay, the client first it was associated with AP1. Now all of that entry would be moved to the AP2. So WLC is aware that, okay, where the client is currently associated. Okay. Now there is a third type, that is inter-controller roaming. I hope you have guessed it correctly. Okay, you have guessed it right. That inter-controller means when there are two controllers come into the picture. So as a wireless network grows, one controller might not be sufficient for our requirement, and we need to add, more than two controllers. And yes, many of the APs can connect it to one of the controller or either of the second one. So it depends upon the design, how the design you have done. So when a client is roaming between, from one AP to the another AP, but this time both APs are not managed by the single controller, it is known as inter-controller kind of architecture. Talking about the intracontroller where one WLC is coming into the picture, maybe slides has moved from one place to another, so this portion was not completed yet. Now let me complete it first, okay, then we will move to the intercontroller again. Okay, so this roaming process is simple and efficient. When there is a controller, only the single controller is there. So intercontroller roam take like 10 milliseconds. Can you imagine that time that even the client will not came to know it has roam to another AP, okay, from one AP to another AP. So this is the beauty of the intercontroller. From the client perspective, it doesn't mean like it is not aware if there is a ROM or no, okay. So this is the thing. The client has no knowledge, okay. APs are communicating over the controller. It simply decide to roam between the two APs with its own signal strength, okay, and the analysis. So client will continue check either its signal strength is strong or no, either it needs to roam or no, okay. So that is the stuff. Just talk about the intercontroller roaming, okay. Here we will check like what is the layer 2 roaming, and then we will check the layer 3 roaming. So again, let me brief you once again what we have covered so far and what we are going to cover now. So first of all, we just check about the autonomous AP, okay. So we check about the autonomous AP, okay, roaming. After that we checked intracontroller where there was only single controller. Now we are checking for intercontroller, and into intercontroller we will check layer 2 and layer 3 both roaming. Before the client ROM, client 1 associated with the AP1 and the IP address of the VLAN that are connected to the, okay. So as I told you in our lab, okay, in my lab, like what I have created, I just show you. This is a WLC, and into the WLC if you see, there is you know, see here are the two APs which are connected over here. But if I go to the controller and I will check the AP like sorry WLC interface, and over the interface you can see that what is the IP address. So these IP address again will go to the, you know, switch, and there it should be associated with some kind of VLAN. So how the structure should be done? Structure should be like this is the WLC, and this WLC should be connected somewhere over our one of the switch, maybe the core switch, okay. And this part should be the trunk part, because it is this WLC may have more than one SSID, which again is having more than two, you know, two or three VLANs. So here also the VLAN should be there, and here also the SVI should be there, which should be the, you know, default gateway for particular this kind of VLAN. So after this WLC stuff, this traffic should be go to the router, and through the router again, like our LAN portion is going, the WLAN portion will also go like that, okay. So there can be some time this part feasible that two WLC, if there are two WLC and they are having same kind of subnet, okay, subnet is same, so that is known as layer 2 ROM. But if there is a different subnet, that is known as layer 3 ROM. So we will see as per our slides also, don't worry. So it may be renewed or it may be using the existing, it depends upon the different algorithms that we will discuss in our later subsequent classes, maybe if you require over there, okay. So because the client has roamed between the API, stay on the same VLAN and the subnet, it has made the layer 2, you know, intercontroller ROM. So as I told you that if the VLAN is same between the two WLCs also, then it is known as layer 2 ROM, okay. So layer 2 ROM locally known as local to it is commonly known as local to local ROM, and it is nice for two reasons, that the client will have the same IP address and the ROM is fast, okay, again 20 millisecond only. So there is an example which is produced over here for the layer 2 ROM, okay. If you see over here, so layer 2 ROM, you can see that this is the client address which is having 100.199. But again, if you notice that on the both of the APs which are associated this time with different WLCs, so AP1 and AP2 are associated with two different WLCs this time, okay. But the subnet is same over both of the APs which are connected to the different WLCs. So when client is roaming from one AP which is connected from WLC1 to the another AP which is connecting to the WLC2, even then the IP address is not getting changed. So here you can see the IP subnet here, and IP subnet here is same. It is no difference. Okay, and this client will receive the same kind of IP address when it is roaming from one AP to the another, maybe it can be associated with second WLC, and there are two WLC into the picture right now. So earlier the association was with the WLC1, now the association will be with the WLC2 over the same VLAN. You can see that VLAN is same. So this is something known as layer 2 ROM. Now, as I told you earlier, that there may be like a scenario where your setup is getting too large. Okay, what if the network grows even more? Then you need to, assign different VLANs or different subnets. So this time maybe your SSID name would be same, but the VLAN can be different. Okay, so breaking up a very large WLAN is a good idea for the scalability viewpoint. So this time what we are doing, we are just dividing the VLAN as well, or the layer 3 stuff also. So, but to make ROM seamless, time consuming, DHCP should be avoided. CUWN has different kind of, stuff, okay, to deal with it. But again, it is an advanced topic. We will not cover into today's class. Okay, might be if you put me under the comments, we can take another video. Okay, we can build up another video for the same. So if you see here, that two controllers involved and compare their VLANs, okay, to assign to their respective WLAN interface. Okay, if the VLAN IDs are the same, okay, nothing special need to be happen. The client enter goes to the layer 2 intercontroller ROM. Okay, even then it is a layer 3 or you can say layer 3 ROM. So if two different VLAN IP differs, controller arranges a layer 3 ROM known as local to the foreign ROM and allow client to use its original IP address. So how it happens? Now it is the time to tell you about the anchor concept. Okay, so we will discuss about the anchor concept a little bit. Okay, what is foreign and what is anchor? So if you see here, what is happening now? So layer 3 controller ROMs consist of an extra tunnel. Okay, then extra tunnel will be built named as EOIP, Ethernet over IP. Okay, so this tunnel will be created. The tunnel carries data to and from the client, and IP subnet will be the same, although that IP subnet is not exist over the WLC2. Let me make you understand. Okay, so the first WLC where the client associated originally, it will be known as the anchor controller, and when the client will roam to the another WLC, that is known as the foreign controller. So client will be get anchored to the original one also. Okay, and when the client roam away from the anchor, it move to the foreign territory, but even then it will have the same IP address. It will not be have the different IP subnet. So here in this diagram you can see what I was trying to say. You can see that originally the client was having 192.168.100 dot subnet IP, which is existing over here. So my client was earlier was connected to the AP1, but now my client has roamed to another direction, and you can see that this is AP2 with having the same kind of SSID, that is SSID staff, but can you see or can you notice the difference between the VLAN? So VLAN difference is somewhat different than the AP1. Now, instead of two tunnels cap swap, there is one more tunnel coming into the picture now, named as EOIP. Okay, so how it is happening? From here, earlier it was WLC1. Okay, but now it will say that there is AP2 which is the AP is connected to the WLC2. Okay, and we can see that there is also the associations table. The client will be under the association table, and over here also the client will be into the association table, and it will come to know regarding this AP2 that AP2 is the client is associating with. But howsoever in background you will be able to see like from where this client originally anchored to. So that also depends. So this is the all about the roaming. Okay, and I hope it something good about this lecture. Okay, and regarding this is our all about the slide. Like if you wanted to just come on our page. You can just check this website, or you can contact with us over these emails or maybe over these phone numbers. Okay, we deal with LTM, GTM, ASM, and the Python and the CCNA, CCNP, CCI, and many different IT courses. Okay, if you want, you can just join there and you can enjoy. Thanks to all of you for listening this.